Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How you all doing? Hopefully you're well. I suppose I ought to explain the set and setting for this evening. Yes, I'm filming on my bed. I'm currently in the process of revamping my place. I'm trying to make this place a little bit more hospitable, trying to turn the flat inside out so it's a bit more appealing to visitors and all that. Which means that I've got furniture all over the shop, stuff everywhere, and to cut a long story short, there is literally nowhere else for me to film tonight except for here. So, this is what you get. Please forgive me. Now that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is the inevitability of a race war. We are going to have one. And some of you are absolutely ecstatic about it. Some of you can't wait for blood in the streets. You are praying for the night of long knives. I, for one, am not one of these people. I think there's going to be a global conflict the world over, divided along ethnic lines, and it is going to be unlike any sort of conflict the world has ever seen. Certainly anything that we've ever seen in our lifetimes. It's going to be kicking off in the UK, it's going to be kicking off in Australia, certainly the US. You know, possibly in mainland Europe, almost certainly in Sweden. Basically all the places where the white people are, because they can't fucking stand it. They're so brainwashed by this victim mentality, by the slavery doctrine, as if we're not subject to it. You know, as if we've got everything all fucking wrapped up nice and peachy, and our lives are on easy mode. Well, sorry friends, that's not the case. But there is going to be an ethnic war, and it's going to be a crying shame. And I know some of you are not going to like to hear this, but I've known some very intelligent black people in my time, some very worldly wise black people in my time, people with integrity and character, the likes of which were not to be found in my white compatriots. People with good moral standing, good judgment, not given over to tempests of wild emotion, as so many other young white men are. I've known good black people, and I'm looking through my subscribership as well, and it's like, you know, there's a guy there by the name of E. Pairdrum, which is an acrostic for murder ape. Yeah, that's the kind of people I'm attracting, and I'm not judging you, dude. You know, you've got your experience, you've got your reason for feeling that way. I've probably been quite privileged. But I know that you're not going to like me saying that, yeah, there are worthwhile people of African descent. But it's true. And so this video, the point of this video is really, it's a plea. It's a warning, and it's a plea. Things are going to be getting all Baltimore up in this shit soon, and I want you to try to strive to make allegiances with persons of other ethnic origin who you feel are worthwhile, because they do exist and they are out there. Shit's going to be kicking off, and when it does, you're going to want people on the other side of the fence who don't completely hate your guts, because when the chips are down, hopefully, they will argue your case in a few rare scenarios. Perhaps if they're in your local area, they will look out for you. You know, you don't want just... What we're going to have is we're going to have packs of raving fucking hordes wandering the lands. Okay, and take the UK for instance. We're going to have the Islamists walking around with Molotov cocktail in hand and scimitar in the other, looking for white women to rape. And I would rather not have, while I'm trying to fucking deal with those cunts, a bunch of fucking angry fucking Jamaican Caribbean gangsters also coming after my white arse. And I don't think you'd want that happening either. You know, currently speaking, the blacks in the UK don't have any necessary allegiance to the Muslims. But if things get whipped into such a storm, and Whitey is demonized as the eternal enemy of all peoples, then maybe that allegiance would be formed. And that's why I'm asking you, if you know reasonable black people in your life, even if you know reasonable Muslim people, you probably don't, but if you do, make inroads with them. There's a current swell of nationalistic sentiment that's coming gradually to the mainstream, and it's only really in the last couple of months that it's emerged. And I would ask you to be wary of that as well. My theory is that there are forces at work in this world playing the game globally to cut the bullshit. I basically think that it's the Central Intelligence Agency, MI5 and Mossad, and possibly some Russians to boot, all working together to further the agenda of Israel. That's my theory. That's who I think the puppet masters are. And they've been using multiculturalism for a long time, but people are fed up with it. People have had enough shit. You know, there's only so far that you can push people, and all this PC victim mentality nonsense has finally got to the common man, and people are turning on that shit. And I think that these global players, these global elites, to use that cliche term, have realised this. And so what they seem to be banking on now, and I'm seeing it more and more, you know, certainly around Nigel Farage, who says that he's speaking for the English people, slowly but surely, they're allowing these nationalist movements to redevelop, to sort of sprout up from the ground again. And what they're going to do is they're going to try and capitalise on it, because they know that multiculturalism is failing. So what they're going to do is they're going to go back to splitting people into factions, black, white, Asian, and they're going to give each of us figureheads, false prophets if you will. Now I don't know whether Nigel Farage is working for Israel. I've heard rumours. I don't know whether he's in the Jews' back pocket. I can't confirm this. As much as anybody else, I enjoy watching him grin in the European Parliament and crack his little wisecracks about cigarettes and whiskey. Yeah, he's charismatic, but can you trust him? Not really. Not really. For one thing, he's not extreme enough. You know, he doesn't seem... his policies aren't that revolutionary. It just seems to be trying to keep the boat afloat for a few more years, and beyond that, who fucking knows? You know, and that's not good enough. So, I suspect Farage might be a false prophet. And there are going to be other ones that are going to emerge gradually. Sort of like in the Louis Farrakhan mould, I reckon. And the Puppet Master is going to play faction against faction. He's going to whip everybody into a rabid, frothing, manic riot, and he's going to pit one side against the other, and we're all going to fucking kill each other. I think that's the plan. I think that's what they're going for. And that's why I'm asking you to try and forge what little decent relationships you can with people of other ethnic origin, because that is a direct antidote, a direct anti-venom to the inevitably futile, random, senseless fucking slaughter of white persons. You know, you're gonna want people on the other side of the fence. Surely you can see the tactical advantage in that.